Hey everyone, it's Hannah and welcome to another Crafty Chat podcast. It's been a hot minute since I last did a Crafty Chat that wasn't a live one. The last video that you had was my vlog of the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So now I'm back with a normal podcast. And if you're at a slightly different angle to usual, it's because I went to use my tripod and a leg fell out. So now it's only a bipod and there's only so much I can do. So I think I'm gonna have to treat myself to a new one. And I only use tiny tripods and then I stack it on top of boxes, which isn't the most practical. But I can clip it back in, but as soon as any pressure's on it, the leg snaps off. So I think it's fair to say I need to buy a new tripod. Anyway, let me grab my podcast notes. Welcome to the Crafty Chat. As I've said, you're in the corner of craft. This is a predominantly knitting podcast with a little bit of crochet every now and again. And my name is Hannah, as I've already said. I am coming at you today from a miserable Nottingham in the UK. Nottingham hasn't seen an awful lot of sunshine recently, which is sad because it is April the 12th. I haven't mentioned that yet. It's April the 12th. And yeah, the weather hasn't been told that it's spring, so it's just been gross and grey and miserable. I hope you all had a lovely few weeks without me and that you didn't miss me too terribly. If you're new to the channel, then you can't have missed me because it's the first time watching. Welcome. If you find that you don't think I'm too much and you quite enjoy my presence, feel free to subscribe. It is free for you to do, and it just means that whenever I post a video, it pops up in your subscription feed. And also, if you're enjoying the video, feel free to hit the thumbs up button below this video, because that way it helps other people find my video. It comes up higher up in recommended and stuff, the more interaction a video has. And seeing as YouTube is a form of my income, the more people that watch a video, the better it is for me and also for you, because it means I'm going to want to keep putting out quality content. If you'd like to follow me on social media, feel free. They're all there. I'm the Corner of Craft in most places. Most active on Instagram. A little obsessive to a worrying degree on Instagram stories, but that's okay. We all have our flaws. And apparently I think that people care what I'm doing in my life. Fine. There's also a Ravelry group, which is the Crafty Chat podcast group. Anyway, it's linked in the description box below this video. In the Ravelry group, that is the space for you to find anything that I talk about in the podcast, be it patterns or yarns or extra information. It's a place for you to ask me questions, although you can also do that in the YouTube comments, I suppose. And it's also the place for knit-alongs and giveaways. And we got both of those things happening. Well, how exciting! So first off, I am co-hosting a knit-along. It's just a nice casual knit-along. It's for the Susanna Shrug by Susanna Sommer. I always say it in a German accent because she's Austrian, I found out. She isn't German. And that started the 14th of February and it's going until the 14th of May. Definitely not going to get mine finished, but you get a medal for participating. So if you participate and chat about it in the chatter thread, you will be in with a chance of winning, because I will be drawing prizes for it. And even though I am chatting in that thread, I cannot win a prize, which is sad. I do need to dye up some prizes. And if anybody fancies donating a prize for the knit along, drop me a message, let me know, and that can be something that I can arrange. I am co-hosting it with some lovely ladies. I am co-hosting it with Meg from Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits and Bad Wolf Girl Yarns Studios, Bad Wolf Girl Studios, and Alison of Lofty Loops is also co-hosting it, and also Tristan and Christy of Girls in the Yarn Cafe are also co-hosting it with me. So feel free to post in everyone's Ravelry groups and you will be in with 4 times, 3 extra, you'll be 4 times as likely to win. You'll have 4 entries, 4, you know what I mean, words, doing the talking thing. my phone's on the desk and I just got a message, so that's annoying. And then I was meant to talk about this, I was meant to film a podcast sooner about this, but Ellie of Skeindir, or Skeindir Knits, has come out. She is the queen of colour work, in my eyes anyway. She has come out with a sock collection called the, oh, I can't speak Norwegian, Sokkelester. Whenever I speak a different language, apparently I pronounce it in a German way, so apologies to any Norwegians listening. It is 6 fantastic colourwork sock patterns, and Ellie, bless her little cotton socks, pun unintended, but at the same time maybe not, has generously donated a copy of her sock collection to be given away on the podcast. Wow. So if you'd like to be in with a chance of winning, head on over to the Ravelry group and I will pop a prompt in the thread and I will draw it next week, which will be the 19th of April. And yeah, good times. And if I don't do it next week, I'll do it the week after, but I'm very behind, and yes, I need to get it done, and my t-shirt looks terrible. If I look a little worse for wear, it's because I've been at work this morning, and I opened the shop this morning, which means my alarm went off at 4:45, but of course I didn't wait until my alarm went off to wake up. I woke up at 4:15 and then couldn't get back to sleep again. Yeah, not great. So this is the Craft Tea Chat podcast, and I do want to start by talking about a tea that I'm drinking today. This is by one of my faves, Bluebird Tea Company. And this is one of their limited edition Easter teas. And my sister, as lovely as she is, bought me their limited edition Easter teas for Easter. So I've got Easter egg nests and also hot cross buns. And I have tried both of them because it is now well past Easter. This is a rooibos tea with also Ceylon black tea, cinnamon hibiscus, apple rosehip, orange peel, lapsang souchong tea, vanilla cranberry and flavour. So who knows what that means. Just by giving a whiff of it, you can smell the vanilla, you can smell the orange. I don't know. I've drank this before, as I've said. I really feel like it needs more spice. When I think hot cross buns, I think of heavy spicing. I mean, the only spice in here is the cinnamon. And there's more than cinnamon in a hot cross bun. And I've eaten my fair share of hot cross buns. But don't get me wrong, it tastes nice. It's quite refreshing actually, but does it taste like a hot cross bun? Not really, but don't get me wrong, it's a really good tea, but don't buy this thinking you're going to get the taste of hot cross buns. Fun fact about hot cross buns, not hot cross buns themselves, but a little anecdote into my life and how middle class I am. So, at work on Maundy Thursday, doing my thing, work in a coffee shop, part-time, for those who don't know, and a parcel is delivered, special delivery needs signing for, so I jokingly said, oh, is it for me? Assuming it's not. Of course it was, and I opened the parcel, and inside the parcel was an ice cream tub with 2 hot cross buns in it. Empty ice cream tub, as in there was no ice cream in it, with 2 hot cross buns in it. 2 homemade hot cross buns. My dad had sent me 2 homemade hot cross buns all the way from West Sussex up to Nottingham, which is really cute. Oh, my fam. Dad knows how much I miss hot cross buns when I'm not in the south for Easter. Okay. I think that's enough admin and random waffling. Let's get on to finished things. So a lot of the things that I finished were gifts. I've done a lot of gift knits. Yes. And I didn't take a picture of one of them. I think I took a picture of 2 of them. So I'll insert them in if I did. So the waveform mittens that I knit and have used a lot, I would like to say. I used them in Edinburgh, I used them in Sweden when I went, and I used them basically just walking around. It was quite chilly for quite a long time. And the waveform mittens are a pattern by Becky Sorensen, aka Soprano Knits and hostess of the Stringing It Together podcast. And I've got a little post-it that I wrote to myself ages ago. Becky worked in collaboration with Raincloud and Sage Yarns, whose name is Ruth. She is also based in Germany, and they came out with some kits, and there are still some kits available on Raincloud and Sage's website, and her yarn is really lovely. So if you'd like to get your hand on some fantastic German wool to make these gorgeous mittens, head on over to her website. But yes, I knit those mittens and I loved them, and I showed them off on the last proper podcast I did. But I also knit two fingerless mitt versions. So basically, instead of doing decreases and weaving in the end to make them a mitten, I knit them up to a point and then did some rows of garter to reflect the cuff, and then cut the thumb off short too, so I didn't finish the thumb, and gifted them to a couple of my friends. And it's just because they're such a quick knit, because they're DK and easy to knit, so you don't have to concentrate on it too much. And yeah, so one of them I just used acrylic yarn, which was from Stash. I have a box of acrylic yarn which is 1 more cuba long. It's just full from my amigurumi days, of which I still dabble in on rare occasions. And then the other mitts I made were from a little bit sheepish yarns in a purple colour, which I can't remember the name of. It was 100% superwash Blueface Leicester. And that yarn blocks up beautifully. So yes, I also knit for another one of my friend's birthdays a black rib hat, which I won't lie, that's a really boring thing to knit. But he wears hats, and there's only so many things you can knit, boys. Or men, I suppose, technically, but men are always boys in my eyes. And it was like one of those short hipster hats that like sit above the ears. So basically, I just did a 2x2 rib hat following the stitch count for the violet waffle hat, but not doing the pattern, just doing the 2x2 rib. And then decreasing at the top when I think I got to 7¼ inches from the edge. Then the brim can be folded up to make the hat as short as it needs to be. And I don't have a picture of that one because I finished it the day before his birthday, because I'm not very organised. Also, didn't find out it was his birthday until a week before his birthday because people are secretive. The final thing I finished, that I briefly showed off on my Edinburgh Yarn Festival sort of vlog and haul thing, were my EYF socks. EYF socks. This is an old label now. This is the Cosmic Strings. Whoop. And this was the, let's fix the focus here, EYF 2017 colour that I bought last year. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And just this really nice heathery mauve colour with a minty green colour with some patches of plum and darker green. Just a basic sock. I did 60 stitches on a 2.5mm needle. I did a new depth heel, also patterned by Becky, and it's ideal for people with hiatus. I don't increase as much as the pattern, as like the initial stitch count. I think I increased by 8 instead of, I can't remember how many. I increased by a few less anyway. And make it fit my foot, which is good, and it does, and it's nice. And I haven't worn these yet. I managed to, I cast these on the airplane, and I cast them off at the airport whilst waiting for my flight, which was then cancelled, and I then drove back with Tracy of Nora George, which is an odd turn of events. We had spoken before, it's not like we were complete strangers, but yes. These socks are filled with many fond and fun memories. Note to self, take more than one knitting project next year to EYF, because apparently I knit a lot while I was there. But I think that's all the finished things. This is my problem. Oh, I also finished my stripy snowflake socks, but I don't have them with me because they're not clean. This is the problem with having such long breaks between podcasts. You kind of forget what you've done. Nothing is fresh. So whips, I got a few. Got a few going on. So we should probably get into it. So my long abandoned blanket is less abandoned. I was talking on the live stream I did that I tried to do as a proper podcast and just ended up having a chat. That how I'd had a lot of knitting time but hadn't seemed to have got much knitting done. Then I realised I've been knitting on this. I've been knitting on my blanket and I'd completely forgotten. So for the last time I showed you, I have knit from here all the way along to halfway through this square, which isn't that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a bit. 7 and a bit squares. So it's growing very slowly, but I think this is what's going to happen with this blanket. Every so often, I'm just going to pick it up and knit on it for a little bit, and that's going to be fine. Just one of those things. I really like how it's knitting. And these two were bought at EYF last year, so that's really nice. And this one I won in Candace's giveaway that she did, Pin Feathers and Pearls, for her 3,000 subscriber giveaway. Inhaling fluff. And I weave in my ends as I go, and I actually don't mind doing it, so I'm that person. Anything else to add? I am using Junk Yarn's pattern, which I believe is the Coziest Memory, Kemperay, Coziest Memories blanket, I think. I'm using 2.5mm needles, and I'm actually using higher sharps, DPNs, and I need to get some little stoppery things to put on the ends of them. So I'm always worried about the stitches flying off. But yes, a blanket. I've enjoyed working on it. I put it down before I went to somewhere and I haven't picked it up since, so that's how much I've enjoyed working on it. But I have, it's been nice. It was a nice break when I didn't really know what else to work on. Oh, I've got one more finished thing that I forgot to say. I was asked to be part of an Afghan, like the Indie Untangled Afghan, 2018 Afghan collaboration is the hashtag. And I was messaged and said, hello, would you like to contribute a square? And I forgot until yesterday morning, and I woke up in a panic, but I've still got time. I need to, I don't know why I looked at my watch, it's got no date on it. I need to ship it off this coming week because it has to get to the lady organising it by May 1st, so I should have time. But this is my square. I went with crochet because I don't crochet very often anymore and I miss it. I used a 3mm hook, and this is my own hand-dyed yarn, and this is called Acid Splash, I think. Yes, it is. And it's just a nice fun vibrant green with some yellow speckles in there. And I've still got all this left, so I might have to have some bright green socks, which is quite exciting. Maybe I'll do some patterned socks or something fun, because look how bright that is. If I stop it focusing on everything else. It's pretty fun. It's not quite neon, but I haven't found anywhere selling neon dye yet. I know it exists, obviously, I have that skein, but this is as close as I've got with the colours that I have. So yes, I probably need to block it actually. I'll tweak it and see. But yeah, just a basic granny square. I didn't follow a pattern for it. I did treble clusters, didn't chain between them. Did chain 2 in the corner, started each row with a chain 3. Don't really have an awful lot else to say. 3mm crochet hook, and this is 4-ply yarn, so fingering weight, for those of you wondering. And it is in my bases don't have names. 75% superwash BFL, 25% nylon, and surprisingly soft. So yes, just need to weave in the ends on that and cut off a length of yarn to send with it so they can be sewn together. Yeah, another finished thing. Okay, pop that to one side. Speaking of green yarns that I've dyed, this is not a repeatable colourway. I dyed it when I was still living in Frankfurt and experimenting with dyeing yarn, and it looks very yellow in comparison to that one. But I cast on a pair of socks for Mario, and I did the stitch count that I usually do, but I think my gauge has loosened up since I started knitting, which is good because it was incredibly tight in the beginning. And so I knit all of this in a day when I was hanging out with some people. I was also drinking, so that might have contributed to how loosely I was knitting. And I got home and I thought, this looks quite big. I'm doing 72 stitches on a 2.5mm needle. I need to try it on him, I think. I think I might need to drop down to 68 stitches on a 2.5mm needle. Or maybe even 64. It's just so big. He's not that big. He's only a slinky. He's only a slinky guy. But yeah, I've attempted to knit a sock for Mario that I'm going to have to rip out. So I haven't touched it in over a week. So that's happening. Kind of half happening. The other socks that I'm knitting, I cast these on in Sweden when I went at the beginning of March. And then haven't touched them for a while. I have one ready for heel, ends woven in, and I have one almost ready. I just need to finish knitting the foot. I've marked where my heel is going to go, and then yeah, just need to keep knitting, and yes, we're getting there. This yarn is by All Wool That Ends Wool, and it's called A Midsummer Night's Dream, obviously named after the Shakespeare play. I bought this in Bakewell when we went to the Bakewell wool gathering, actually. And it was a lot of fun. Really enjoying knitting with this yarn because it's just so jazzy. I've just had it on the needles for too long now. I've got a few different options I could have as heels. I got this I could have as a heel. I've got a collection of minis, which is down behind me, which my friend Suzanne gifted me. And so I could have odd heels if I wanted it. Oh, that might be fun. Maybe I'll have odd heels. But yeah, I got a lot of this knit whilst at the pub the other day. I was sat in the smoking area. I don't smoke, but the people I was with smoke. And the problem with taking your knitting to a pub when everyone smokes, and therefore you have to sit in the smoking area, otherwise you're sat by yourself, is that you come home and your knitting smells of smoke. But the good thing about wool is it airs out very quickly, so nothing smells like smoke anymore. Success. But yes, ready to put my afterthought heels. I didn't want to mess up the striping pattern, which is why I opted for an afterthought heel, because obviously it's not obvious, but it's micro striping. And if I were to do any other heel, it would mess up the evenness of the stripes, and I don't want that. So I'm going afterthought, and I'm attempting for the 4th time to succeed at an afterthought heel. 4th time. I think it's fair to say I'm probably really bad at afterthought heels. I just could never get them in the right place. But trying a new technique this week, or this time, and hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay. The other thing that I did show you last time, that I barely touched since casting it on, was my Bendy Arrows shawl. This is a pattern by Charlotte Bory. I forgot to say, I'm doing 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles for the stripy rainbowy socks. I'm knitting this on a 3.5mm needle, and yeah, I've done some work on it this week. Literally picked it up this week. So I finished off the first part on one colour, and I've gone into striping colour B with colour A. So the yarns that I'm using are both by Lollipop Guild Yarn. I bought these at, it's called Handmade with a Love, which is at Rowland's Castle. It's a fantastic yarn shop if you're in Sussex, or Hampshire. Even though Lollipop Guild Yarns is based in Nottingham, which is really interesting. I got these for my birthday from my parents. They thank you, Mum and Dad. So the top one is Goldie Hawn, and the bottom one is Mauve It, Mauve It. You see, I don't call this mauve. I've got a very specific colour on what I call mauve, and this dark plum colour is not mauve, but sure, I'll go with it. I won't lie, the reason I didn't touch it for a while is because I wound up this, I really liked this in the skein, and I wound it up into a cake and thought, I don't like it. I really don't like it. And I let it sit for a while with me not looking at it. And I went back to it. I went back to knitting this, which is actually incredibly mindless, by the way, at this point anyway. And I realised I do like it. It just looks different to the skein. And I think it shocked me how different it was. But I do like it. And it's knitting up really nicely. I got loads of it done during D&D on Tuesday, so I managed to get a big dent in. I was about here, and I got up to about here. All in D&D, but rows are getting longer and longer. So yeah, I've just got a few more stripies to do, and then a few solid rows of this, and then there's a new section to do. So exciting. So yeah, I've been knitting this a lot recently. Also, I don't know if this yellow suits me, but you know what? I don't care. And that is living in my Fringe Field supply bag with all my badges on it. Not all my badges, some of my badges. I've got a few more from EYF I need to add. My EYF badges, except a couple, are, predominantly, there is a swear word on my bag. Just to let you know, if there are small children who can read present. Predominantly on this bag that I bought when I went to Estonia last summer. I'm so well travelled. So yeah, this one is mine, this one is mine, but yes. Love it. Love it. I need to transfer them across. And actually, my two badges will be going in my shop update, which I will talk about later. But for now, I've got one more work in progress to talk to you about. Living in my Full and Vine project bag with my sweaters on that I got dye on somewhere here. So sad, I always got yarn dye on it. But living in here is my Shusui Shrug. I've finally cast it on, and I'm not very far through. I would be further through had I not got distracted by my Bendy Arrows shawl, which is annoying because I want to cast on all of the sweaters. I have a few sweater quantities to knit, but I need to make a dent on this. So this is the Shusui Shrug, which I explained earlier on. I'm co-hosting a knit along for. It's a shrug. Not an awful lot more to say. It's like a big slouchy cardigan, really. It's a combination of brioche and garter stitch with some fun loopy yarn overs on the shoulders. Yep. I'm using my own hand-dyed yarn. I know, right? This is the first proper project that I've done with my own hand-dyed yarn, because I don't dye in large quantities. So if I keep any yarn for myself, I feel like I'm cheating myself, if that makes sense. So I felt a bit cheeky winding this up as well. But look how green it is. Yes, my own hand-dyed yarn. This is what it looks like so far. I won't lie, one of the colours is as yet unnamed. One of them is not. So these are both on my 100% superwash merino base, which is so soft. I am using Vicious Mockery and the unnamed colour as yet. So I have a very small Très Petit yarn biz called Chromatic Yarns, in which I dye yarns in colourways inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, I've got Vicious Mockery, which is the purple. It's just a really nice tonal, kind of Cadbury's purple. And then I've got this unnamed one, which is just a fantastic speckled yarn. And if you know me at all, you will know that I'm rather partial to a natural colour of yarn with some fun speckles on. So we've got speckles of, oh, I played with all my new ones, didn't I? Got a little bit of purple, but not really. I put in some teal, some jade, although they both look very similar to one another and very similar to the turquoise I have, and also a bit of charcoal to spice things up, but you can't really see it. And yeah, it's knitting up really nicely. I need to start alternating skeins now, because I just wanted to get the pattern established before I wanted to confuse myself with some extra skeins, but I've got it relatively established in my head. So I need to start introducing the other two skeins that I've put to one side somewhere in a safe place probably. Yes, before I get too into it and realise that my next two skeins are completely different. Also, using hand-dyed yarn, so you should alternate skeins anyway. I cast this on 3 times. I won't lie. The last time I cast it on twice in a day. And that's because I dropped a stitch and I couldn't work out how to pick it up. So instead of, you know, battling that, I ripped it out. The first time I cast it on and realised I'd forgotten to do some increases and would have had to have tinked back many rows. So I thought, no. And so yeah, just ripped it out instead. But now I've got it down and I'm using an incredibly cute progress keeper that I treated myself before Edinburgh Yarn Festival by Owls and Orchids, and it's just really cute, really light hedgehog. I also bought a sloth, but he's downstairs. I posted about him on Instagram for a little bit, if you've seen him. But this hedgehog's really cute. The sloth is also cute. It's not as cute as it looked in the photo. That's not a criticism, that's a mere comment. And looking at the photo, like its head placement is in a different place and blah blah blah. And I understand it's handmade, so things are not going to look manufactured and exactly like a charm in the photo. But it does look a bit different. But this hedgehog is super cute. And not bad shipping considering she lives in the States. That's what puts me off buying from the States. So yes, Shusui Shrug. Definitely not going to get that finished for the 14th of May. Unless I knit nothing but that, but unfortunately, I don't have time. So yes, those are all my current works in progress. I've shown you all of the whips that I have going on. Except for that doily that I talked about in the first few episodes and then abandoned forevermore. Oh, my tea's getting cold. So for stash fattening, I have a couple of bits. I have all of the yarn that I bought at Edinburgh Yarn Festival. Now, I don't want to sit and go through that with you now, even though I did do that last year. Because I think a lot of you will have seen my Edinburgh Yarn Festival vlog, and if you have, then I don't need to show you it. If you're interested in knowing what I bought at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, feel free to check out my EYF vlog. It's the last video I posted. I'll pop a link to it, or I'll pop a link to it at the end of the video. And after the actual vlog portion, I show you all of the bits that I bought. Otherwise, this would be a really long podcast. But I did buy a couple of bits before EYF. And I showed off one of these on a live stream. Maybe both of these on a live stream. But not everyone watches the live streams, and that is a-okay. So, I like Souvenir Yarn, I won't lie. I went to Sweden to visit one of my friends, or see one of my friends, meet one of my friends for the first time in person, which was a surreal experience, but like the best thing ever. And treated myself to a skein from this yarn shop. So, this is the yarn shop, Lite Nystan. German pronunciation yet again. And yes, this sock blank was dyed, or it's like made for the yarn shop, so I thought that's an apt thing. It says 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. I'm going to have to take a picture of this and send it to my friend. She did translate it for me while I was there, but I've already forgotten about how to cast it on, because it said to like cut it in the middle and unravel it, but how I've always done it is you just unravel it from one end. So maybe I'll have a look. But yes, I'm really excited to cast these on, but I just want to leave it like this for a while. It's just this really fun It's got really fun shades of pink and a bit of black and it's a bit gothic and fantastic. And I think they're just going to make some really lovely socks. And then I also treated myself when the Countess, aka Countess Ablaze, this campaign is now over sadly, but she had been approached by a business in Manchester in a slightly aggressive way to offer her services in a business sense, not in a rude sense, which is what that sentence made it sound like, to host a crochet masterclass kind of thing, and had been expected to donate an awful lot of yarn, and instead of them asking politely and nicely, they were slightly aggressive about it. So the Countess came out with 2 colourways. One of them was called, and I am going to swear, it was called Shit Tea and Tray Bake, and the other one was If I Want Exposure I'll Get My Tits Out. And she did a pre-order for them for a really long time and had 40 skeins ready to go, and I got one of the 40 skeins ready to go, and donated £3 of every skein to Women's Aid, and she ended up sending off over £3,000 to the charity Women's Aid, which is awe-inspiring. So I had to treat myself. I got Shit Tea and Tray Bake. Which other one could I have got? So this is on her Lady Persephone sock, which is 75% Blueface Leicester, 25% nylon, and as the name suggests, it is a sock yarn. But it's got some fantastic speckles in it and some darker colours in it, and I'm excited to knit it. It just needs to find the perfect project, and those were the things that I treated myself to. Okay, that's it for the knitting. No more. No more. I do have my shop update to talk to you about. As I mentioned, I will be posting my badges, which is this one here and this one here, in my shop. I have a shop update coming on Saturday at 10 AM, which is British Summer Time, or GMT. I think it's technically meant to be GMT +1 at the moment because clocks have gone forward. Unsure, but yes. These badges will be going in because I gave a few away at EYF, but managed to save some to go in shop update because a lot of you had been asking about it. And my job has managed to put me back down to the hours that I had originally requested, so I actually had time this week to do some beading. And with this pile in front of me, it doesn't look like I've done much, but my hands are telling me I've done a lot. So I have 3 of each of the charms I'm about to show you available. I have missed one of them off though. I've missed a few of them off. How did I? No wonder it didn't look as many. I've missed some of them off. That one I've missed off, that one I've missed off, that one I've missed off. That one I've missed off. And a sloth. That one I've missed off. Okay. Whew. I fell down the stairs a couple of weeks ago, and if you've woken me, you're so sick of me hearing about me falling down the stairs. Twisted my ankle really badly. I think I got 1 week ankle anyway from twisting it a lot when I was younger. And it still doesn't feel right. It still hurts quite a lot. So for those of you who don't know, I do a lot of bead weaving, or have done a lot of bead weaving. And bead weaving is essentially where you sew beads together one by one, you know, in a sequence, and it makes a little pattern, and you can make cool little things from it. So I've decided to, I had a hunt around on Etsy after Becky, who I've mentioned before, aforementioned, suggested that I market them as progress keepers and stitch markers, and so I decided to do that. After looking on Etsy and seeing that no one else was doing it, I thought, what a niche, I could be that person, because they're sewn together with tiny glass beads. Ooh, oh my goodness, I've got knitting everywhere, my knitting everywhere. They're sewn together with tiny glass beads, which means they're so lightweight. They weigh virtually nothing, which makes them perfect for light projects. So I got this rubber ducky, which is very cute, and he does have a wing shadow in a slightly darker shade. It's difficult to see on that one, might be easier to see on the purple one. And I have, yeah, I got 3 of each available for you going into the shop, as I said, at 10 AM. If you search 10 AM London time, or what time is it in London, and compare that to what time it is where you are. We're about an hour behind most places in Europe, 2 hours behind a couple of places in Europe. And we've got that little rub ducky, standard yellow, that's all for the duckies. I got my tiny, oh, I got one of my hares. One of my tiny pandas going in. These are my favourite. I don't care. They don't sell as well as some of the other ones, but I can't get over how stinking cute they are. And my problem is, my stitch markers look so much better in person than they do in photos. And it's not just me saying that, I've been told it on multiple occasions. And so I've decided this time to make a brown and cream with a little pink nose, which I think is very cute as well. And that's it for the pandas. Let's do some standalones. I've got a sloth. Who's so cute. And so each one of those little pixels, I suppose, that you see is a single bead. And yeah, I sew them together one by one. I find it fun and therapeutic. I sadly ran out of time yesterday to get as much done as I wanted to, but that's okay. Got some bumblebees going in. And like I said, I do have 3 of each going into the shop. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. I don't want to miss out on any information. The link to my, oh, here we go. The link to my shop can be found in the description box below this video. I am the Corner of Craft on Etsy. Everyone always complains about Etsy's search function. I don't think it's that awful. The cornerofcraft.etsy.com or the corner of craft, yeah, .etsy.com. I have some pink unicorns going in. I wanted to get some more unicorns done, but sadly I ran out of time, and also my back was killing me by this point because I'm an old lady now and sitting hunched like this for 8 hours a day. It's not good for your back. I've got some black cats. I adjusted the pattern very slightly for my black cat heads and made them look slightly cuter. Just moved the nose up. Who knew? Who knew that something so simple could be so adorable, make something so much more adorable? Looks less derpy and more cat-like. And then I've got a navy blue dragon, which has some shiny blue wings, and it does have black eyes. You can just about see them. And then I've also got a bronze dragon. Now this one's a little shiny, so it might not come up that well on screen, but it looks really cute in person. Oh no, that's okay. He's got metallic gold, metallic bronze wings, sorry. And yeah, it's pretty cute. And I posted about these on Instagram and you all went mad for them. So I made a couple of coffee mugs, or hot chocolate mugs I suppose, with a little bit of a Scandi design on them. So I got the turquoise one and I got a cute pink one as well. I'm sorry that my nails are so awful. I've literally just got coffee all over my hands, even though I'm never on the coffee machine. Not quite sure how that works. And then Bead Crumbs, which is where I got most of my patterns from, not all of them, came out with a lucky cat pattern, and I just had to get it. It's a Japanese lucky cat, which I believe is called a Maneki Nico. If my pronunciation is wrong, I apologise. But it's one of those cute wavy cats. It's really cute, and I really like it. It does have a little nose. And it's got a 24 karat gold plated bead in the middle of it for a little bit of luxury. So those are all of the things that I will be making listings for after I edit this video. They'll be going in the shop 10 AM Saturday morning. So I suppose I better talk about life, because it's, you know, it's been a hot minute, and I bet you're wondering, Hannah, where have you been? Well, friendly viewer of the podcast, I shall tell you. I went to Sweden, and then I came back for a week, and then I went to Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and I came back. And then people at work got ill, so my part-time job turned into a 42-hour week, which doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but I was exhausted. Everyone's problems are relative to themselves. And I got really ill after Edinburgh Yarn Festival. Whoever gave me that cold at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, I'm not actually angry at you, but seriously, it was awful. Like, my ear just completely blocked up. I couldn't hear anything out of one of my ears. And considering I work in a coffee shop and have to talk to people as a job, and had to work double the hours that I usually do, therefore couldn't rest. Yeah, it was tough. But my ear was cleared. My ear cleared a week after my cold went away, so that was annoying. And then Mario and I went out for date night, which was nice. We went to a really nice Italian restaurant. And Mario proposed. There's a little elephant in the room. I didn't want to talk about it too early on. I've been going on about it at work for too long. I got too excited about it. I've had time to calm down. I thought I'd wait and talk about it in life stuff. But yes, Mario asked me to marry him. He did well in choosing the ring. It's just a nice little 1920s inspired ring with a cute opal. It's got a little tiny diamond either side. And it's just really pretty. I really like it. I'm really excited. So now I get to plan a wedding. But only it's my own. So that's slightly more scary. I'm terrified, genuinely. But yes, very excited as well. Especially because I didn't think it was going to happen. Didn't think he was going to propose. But the world is full of strange and wondrous things. And I'm engaged. Like some kind of crazy grown-up or something. So that is very exciting. I'm very happy. I've been with him for 7.5 years. And he proposed in the middle of a restaurant. We didn't make a big deal out of it because we're British. I cried a little bit. Should have made a bigger deal out of it. Could have got a free drink, but didn't make a big deal out of it. So that was fine. It's not who we are. So yeah, I may have looked at some patterns to knit myself a wedding dress, but then I thought maybe I'll just knit myself a cardigan or something to go over the top of it. That way I still get the fun of wedding dress shopping. Maybe. So yeah, that's an exciting thing that's happened in my life. And then Easter happened, and then seeing family happened, and then it snowed again, and then yeah, back to normality. This week is the first week. Oh, and then we had a friend visit last week from Frankfurt, which was so lovely. It was so lovely to see her. But this week was the first week that it feels like everything's getting back to normal. March was the weird month. March was the month where nothing aligned itself right, and I felt so off kilter. I didn't like March. That's not true. I did like March. I didn't like how out of routine I felt within March. So that's kind of annoying. But it's okay. Getting back on track. For those of you who are waiting for a yarn update, I'm hopefully going to do one of those next week. And also I want to bring back the weekly podcast, so I've missed talking to you so much. And hopefully I'll get another tripod before next week, because this is a bit sad. I can't remember where I got this from. I have a feeling Mario got it for me. I have had it for years. It's pre-Germany, and I lived there for 2 years. I had it with my old camera, so that's a while. Yeah, it's been a long time, and it's finally broken. I think it was only a cheap one anyway, so I need to find another tripod. I need to get one of those Gorilla Pod things for my phone, so I can do more live streams from there, and also just get another mini tripod. Do also need to save money. Also, I have decided yesterday, I made the executive decision that I'm going to be going to Woolen in Dublin. One last reckless spending spree before panicking about my wedding. I'm not going to buy too much, she says, with all optimisticness is what I was going to say. I don't intend on buying too much, but who knows. I will only be going for the Saturday. I'll be arriving Saturday morning. I'll be flying out Sunday morning. But I think it will be a lot of fun, and I need to book flights and accommodation this evening. Also, I'm engaged. This is why I didn't want to talk about it too early on, because it's got to the point where at work people are like, wait, you're engaged? And just taking the piss. I mean, I encourage it because I keep saying it, but hey, I'm allowed to be excited. I'm going to have like a whole new name. Whew. Ooh, that's going to be weird. Ooh, did anyone else have a slight identity crisis the morning after their wedding when they realise they have a new name? I have a feeling I'm going to be that person. But yes, if you're going to Woolen in Dublin, feel free to come up and say hi. I really enjoyed people coming up to say hi in Edinburgh. It was nice. It was nice to meet people and chat to people and, you know, make new friends. And I did. I made some really lovely new friends. And it made the trip that much better. Okay, I'm going to go before I waffle on too long. Thank you so much for watching this incredibly long podcast. And don't forget to check out the Ravelry group for any information that I may have missed out or that I may not have explained well enough. I really need a nap. I'm exhausted, but I will probably just have an early night instead because I have photos to edit. Don't forget to check out my shop update on Saturday morning. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like to. Obs no pressure. Once again, like and subscribe if that is your jam. And I think that's everything I have to say. Don't forget to check out Ellie's sock collection on Ravelry and enter the giveaway I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going. I'm actually going. I'm going mental. I need to get my hair cut. My fringe is too long. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!